Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me is Will Power and the commish, Shabby the commish, that is. This is the first show of the 2023 season before we start fantasy baseball. So this is the first show, and I'll let you guys take it from here. Will, how's it going, man?
It's good, man. Weather's finally starting to get a little warmer in Pennsylvania. Today was like 57. So,
What the hell, 57?
yeah.
We're at 80 degrees out here right now.
No
So
way.
yeah,
Oh,
so
shit.
it
Lucky.
was a good
You guys
day
are
out here
lucky.
in California. What's
Dude,
up?
today was beautiful over here, man. I mean, it was a little cloudy, overcast, but 57 compared to the normal like 35 that it's been for the past couple months. It hasn't been the roughest winter. We've had a lot colder winters in the past, but this year it didn't really feel like a winter. We got one little snowstorm which didn't even stick to the ground because it wasn't that cold, and
It wasn't enough.
no, it wasn't enough. I was hoping to go to the park down the street with the kids and take the sled out and go down the hills, but that didn't happen.
All right. Well,
Better luck
Javi,
next
how's it
year.
going with you, man? Everything good?
Give me that Cali weather any day, bro.
Nah, man. You got to come out here, dude.
This shit's weird, man.
how
This
how
shit's
how you
so
guys
weird.
been doing without baseball? I know I've been depressed without baseball. I don't know how.
I've been
Yeah.
depressed because my Niners took a crap, so I hope the Eagles get their ass whooped.
Man, I don't know, dude. It's whatever. What it is what it is. We'll see football next year. I'm just excited about baseball.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Yeah,
So
it's
for
finally
so I
back,
haven't
man. It's
I
finally
exactly.
haven't
back.
honestly haven't paid any attention, just like the major signings, but
Hmm.
I'm back on it. Got to get
Yeah.
back on it.
Well, let's just get into it, man. I know there's a lot of people that been waiting for our show. Two or three people, maybe just us. I don't know. Anyway, I know there's been a lot of MLB changes, upcoming MLB changes, rules, and everything that's going to happen this year. And let's go into it, man. I know there's one of them is the pitch clock, and it's going to change, and it's going to change the whole strategic of baseball for pitchers and hitters as well. Will, you want to take us into that?
Yeah. So basically, the pitch timer is something that they've used in the minor leagues in high A ball, double A ball
Last year, right?
the last year, and the general consensus is that it's really working, and the biggest reason
Wait, working
why,
for who though?
for everybody. I mean, there are certain people that have to make adjustments, but baseball is all about adjustments, and these guys, because they've been accustomed to adjusting to everything in their whole baseball career, this is just a minor adjustment that they're going to have to do. Certain guys like Bryce Harper or Kenley Jansen that take a long time. What's up, Garrett? That take a long time to get ready. In between pitches. What's up, Jasper? Jasper was actually texting me on Instagram earlier today, asking me if we were going to have a show. So
Yeah,
glad
here
you
we
made it,
are.
Jasper.
So what happened,
Yeah.
man?
So
Don't get distracted.
so what they're saying is that in the minor leagues, it actually shaved off about 28 minutes, 26 to 28 minutes on a total game time, and went from 3 hours and 5 minutes all the way down to 2 hours and 35 minutes. So
Okay.
a 2 hour and 35 minute baseball game, honestly, that sounds a lot better than a 3 hour baseball game, especially when I'm trying to watch my Dodgers and they don't start until 7 o'clock on the West Coast, which is 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And
Hmm.
when I have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work, it's rough when I try to stay up and watch those games. So
Well,
I'm kind
I,
of glad that they're doing that. A lot of people have a big problem with it,
I do,
but
I do because
that's
it's
because you're
like
old school, fool.
no, dude. It's just kind of like taking away from the game. It's if you're gonna watch the sport, you're gonna watch it for what it is, and not only that, but to be honest, I just feel like are we getting any new fans because of it? Have they tested that out? Have they seen if they're gonna get any?
Oh, you froze again.
I
Hmm.
did.
No.
Uh
There
oh.
you go. I
Yeah.
can
Uh,
hear you.
I'm back.
There you go.
Oh,
There
you
we
can
go.
still hear
There
me?
we go.
Okay.
Bro,
Okay.
pay your Wi-Fi bill, man. Shit.
Man, I'm paying that $29.99 Wi-Fi bill.
You need that T3, man.
Yeah, dude. No, but I'm just saying, like, are they gonna have more fans because of it? Because we're looking at it at a different angle. We have been talking about, promoting the game a lot more, having free games for people to see, having those shows for kids to see before the game starts. Those things are not there anymore like we did when we were kids. We used to know about the Mark McGuires, about the King Griffey Juniors, about, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, all these big time players. And now we don't get to hear about all these big players. Who's coming out in the show this year? Is that Chisholm?
Chisholm.
Oh,
Exactly.
on the cover? Yeah.
Exactly.
Chisholm.
Does a lot of people know who he is? No. Exactly. So how?
Yeah,
are you
that
gonna-
threw me off.
Yeah. So how are you going to have people excited for a game that's like, oh, it used to be 3 hours, now it's 2.5? No. You do it another way, and that's the thing we've been talking about from the get go. Like maybe if you start doing those for little kids and start grooming them into liking the sport, then you're like, okay, we got an audience. Let's shorten the game up. Like we don't have that yet. Like so, you have
maybe-
basketball and you have football that are just like exploding all over the place.
Maybe
Everybody's
if,
watching.
Maybe if people pass down the info, like let's watch a baseball game. It's a lot shorter time, and I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe the fact that the game is shorter will raise
Invite more
eyebrows
people?
and be yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's just about the shorter duration of the game. I think it's also about you don't have to wait so long in between pitches and possibly see an amazing play. The pitches are going to come sooner. Each at bat is going to be about 30 to 45 seconds less than it previously was. In like a 6 pitch at bat.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're going to see that the game's going to be moving a lot faster, and the generation is different now. The younger generation, I feel like they don't really have the attention span that maybe we did as kids,
that is true.
because everyone is constantly on their phone. They get information within just a few seconds rather than having to wait to find out what happened by watching the news or watching MLB Network, which YouTube TV just canceled, and it kind of pissed me off, by the way.
Yeah. So Will, you're for it. Javi, are you saying
I'm like
you're
on
in
the
between?
fence. I'm on the fence on it.
You're in between or on the fence? Like
I gotta see it. I guess I haven't really watched.
Honestly, I
like-
don't think that you guys are even going to notice much of a difference.
Of course not. You're not going to notice, but you are going to okay. Do you guys remember the Cardinals, how they used to take forever to make a pitch, forever to throw to first, forever to come to an at bat? That changes momentum. You know that, right? And that part of the game, it's not really seen like a big, huge thing. Why? Because not an average baseball fan would notice that stuff. More like a top, not top. Well, let's go tiers, I guess. Top tier fan will probably notice that and be like, "Man, this guy's taking his time out there. He's stepping off the mound. Why is he doing that?" Like you're gonna notice those things. You're gonna be like, "He's doing that so he can get momentum back, so he can stop momentum, and so he can get going." So I mean, baseball's already a boring sport to many, So you're trying to make it fun. So let's go into the next rule, the shift. Now that's gonna be exciting. Now that you're gonna have shortstop, second base, third base, first base making some good ass plays, and I'm for that. I'm for that. Yeah, because now you're gonna have. I mean, he's not a Dodger anymore, but Cody Bellinger, he used to pull the ball a lot, and those balls that were hit to like what do you call that position, the middle outfield? You're gonna have the second baseman diving for that, and now you're gonna be able to see baseball for what it is and see these athletes perform. Because right now we haven't seen a good play. When was the last time I saw a play that I remember? I can't. I still remember Derek Jeter going into the hole and then jumping and throwing a first. That's old school. I haven't seen one this generation. And of course, kids are not going to get excited for that. like if you get a ground ball in front of you and you throw the first, like, have you guys seen that post on Instagram that goes like, oh, and Tatis makes a play, like, and he's dropping the ball and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So like he doesn't even make big time plays for me to be like, whoa, like something like that.
Yeah.
So
Because of the shift, there has been just kind of routine plays over and over again.
yeah,
Because these defenders are going to be most likely where the ball is going to be hit because of all the computer data that we have. Everyone already knows that Joey Gallo is going to hit it right down the line basically every time. So you shift the guys over. You have 3 guys on one side of second base, and more than likely the ball's going to go to one of them. I agree with you. I really like this rule change. I think that guys that thrive on their defense, guys like Carlos Correa, guys like Brandon Crawford, and
he's older though. I don't know if he's going to be making some tough plays, but he might make some
I don't know,
some good
man.
ones. He's still got a glove. He's still got a glove. I'm just
he does
hating.
have
He's a
that
giant.
glove.
I'm hating. He's a giant.
You gotta throw that in there.
He's still a shortstop though. I love shortstops, and I know he has a glove on him, but he is getting older, and he is a giant. But I'll give him that. He is a good fielder, and you're right about that. He's gonna.
We're gonna see a lot more of those like ESPN type of highlight plays.
How does it go? Da-da-da, da-da-da. Exactly. We haven't
That was
seen
my
that.
ringtone
Exactly
for a
my
little
point.
while.
See, we haven't done that in a while. We haven't seen those plays in a while. So
Maybe now, so because of the shift, there wasn't as many great defensive plays, right? And ESPN a couple seasons ago, they just canned their baseball show that they had. So now it's just on MLB
Tonight,
Network. Right? Yeah, Baseball Tonight.
Yeah.
So maybe now that there's going to be a lot more, highlight defensive plays, maybe the ESPN will start showing more baseball plays.
Yeah.
Since there's going to be a lot more highlights to be able to actually show. Like, I love watching Quick Pitch on MLB Network. It's just a solid hour of just big highlights, whether it's with the bat or the glove or the arm or whatever. It's honestly my favorite show to watch, whether it's baseball or not. And,
do you guys like watching intentional pitch?
No.
No?
Intentional talk?
Oh, intentional talk. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Intentional.
Not
I like
anymore.
watching all that shit.
I used to like it with Chris Rose.
Yeah, he was good.
He was
I
really
haven't seen
good.
it since.
I really
I haven't
liked
seen.
him.
I haven't seen it since he left, or they kicked him out the show. I think
Yeah,
it was.
because of the they tried to blame it on the pandemic, that they didn't have enough funds to go around. So Kevin Millar was going to start doing the show on his own, and
which he
a
doesn't
season
do a
later
bad
they
job.
ended up
Though.
getting someone else instead.
He didn't do a bad job. He did a good job. I think he's pretty
Kevin
good.
Millar.
Yeah, he's pretty
Yeah,
good.
he does a good job, and the new guy does a good job too. But
You're sticking it to the man. You're like, I'm not watching because he's not there anymore.
Nah, I still watch it, but I mean, I'd rather watch that than that Mad Dog show. I can't stand Mad Dog.
You can't stand Mad
He's
Dog?
too New York for me.
Yeah. You guys, East Coast, man. You guys are outnumbered me right now. Javi, what do you think of the shift, man? Are you agree? Do you agree, or are you on the fence on that one too?
I like it. I
Yeah.
agree with you guys. The fact that baseball needs a little bit more excitement to it, that might draw more fans to watch the games
I
or
agree.
actually go to the games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
real quick, I did write down the exact rules for banning the shift, just in case there's someone watching that doesn't really know exactly what that means.
Go for
So, number one, all 4 infielders have to have both feet on the outer boundary. So what that means is that infielders are not allowed to be anywhere in the outfield. They have to be on the dirt inside the infield. So it's not just the players being on, one side of second base or the other. It's also that they can't be too far back. We've seen guys like Machado that have played really far back because they know that most likely it's probably going to go to the outfield. So you have a 4th defender in the outfield.
Yeah.
Even if it's shallow outfield, it's basically like a rover, like you do in slow pitch softball.
Dang, I haven't heard a rover since I was in elementary, dude.
So the second is 2 infielders must be positioned on each side of second base when the pitch is released. So
Okay.
that one is basically the one where everyone just kind of just assumed what the banning the shift would be, but there's a little more to it than that.
Of course.
Number 3, no switching sides. So they made this rule so that way, you look at the Padres, for example, because I just said Machado. Machado is their best defender on the infield for sure. So if you have a left-handed bat, and most likely it's going to go to the right side of the infield towards first base or second base, they can't move Machado over to second base and switch him with the second baseman and make the second baseman go over to third.
That.
He has to stay at his position for the whole game unless there is a defensive substitution. So if someone else comes into the game as a substitute for Jake Cronenworth or whoever it may be, then Machado could possibly move over to second base, but then he'll have to stay there for the rest of the game as well.
Gotcha.
So a little.
Oh, that's pretty good, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm glad
like
they
that.
implemented that. That was smart of them to actually think about that.
Yeah, that's good.
If general manager of a team, I might think about moving guys over, switching sides just for one at bat.
You'll
just
be doing
to
some. Have you
get a
guys
little
watched
advantage there.
Have you guys watched the Bat News Bears? You know how Kelly, the old one, the old movie.
Yeah.
How the outfielder used to go all the way to right field and then to left field, catch the ball for them because
yeah.
they couldn't catch the ball. So yeah, that's gonna eliminate that happening. They're moving Machado to second, which is good. It's good for the sport to do that because now you're gonna be able to see athletes perform. Which we have been seeing it, but it's just gonna be more of like the fielding aspect of the game has been missing a lot.
It's going to prove why these guys get the Gold Glove awards that they do.
Yeah. So is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, cool. So I know we jumped into going into the shift, and we forgot to mention how many seconds is going to be at first base for the pitchers, right? It's going to be. Do you have that on you or?
For the pitch timer?
Yeah, the pitch timer.
So the rules that I have down here is the pitch timer for pitchers, 15 seconds with no runners on base and 20 seconds with runners on.
Okay.
Second rule I have is, well, not really a rule, but basically what it's going to make happen is that it forces the batters to get inside the box sooner.
Yeah.
So the batter actually has to be in the box ready for the pitch to come at the 5-second mark before the 20 seconds is up or the 15 seconds is up. They have to be in there within 5 seconds of the pitch.
Good thing Garcia Parra is not part of this league anymore because that guy took forever.
Hey, dude, the first thing that I thought of was Harper adjusting his gloves 5 different times, on each side, and then finally getting in the box. Or Kyle Seager. You guys seen that video where the pitcher gets upset with Kyle Seager?
Oh yeah, Jarrett Weaver threw at him, right? Because
was
of that.
Him?
Yeah, it was Jarrett Weaver that threw at him because he took forever. He was like, "Hey man, stop! Wait, I'm getting ready. Wait." And then the next pitch he threw at him, and he was like, "What the hell's your problem?"
So I saw a video of Paul DeYoung from the Cardinals. This was from last year.
Yeah,
that he was coming back from injury. He was playing in a minor league game. And he took too long to get in the box, and he was already at a 2-2 count. And because he wasn't inside the box ready to go at that 5-second mark, he got that third strike call, and they called him out.
Crazy.
So this is something that spring training is really going to help with these guys. They need to start getting accustomed to these rules before the actual season starts.
So then, since we are talking about fantasy baseball and we're talking about the rules right now, and let's just get into the fantasy part of that segment because the shift is going to happen. There's a lot of players, like I mentioned earlier, Cody Bellinger, and Cody Bellinger really suffered. He barely got over the Mendoza line, and he batted like 216 last year. And is that going to be something that you're going to look for? The draft pick for him the years before was horrible for Cody Bellinger, right? If we're looking at that batting average, super low, and the base percentage and all that stuff. So now with the shift, is his draft pick going to be a lot like higher, lower? Is it going to stay the same? Are you going to look at different players that had that pulling that ball, like you just said to Joey Gallo? He's one of those guys that pulls the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Are we going to have those players, jump up on those rounds? Like now they're going to be one of those premier players that you're looking at like, well, maybe I should take a chance and pick them up because the shift is not there anymore.
I think you could do that. That's a possible strategy to have. But I think if you really want to have that type of strategy, then you go to Baseball Reference or Baseball Consensus or Baseball Savant, one of those websites, and search up the player that you want to look up and see how many times he hit into the shift, because it'll show on there the percentage of how many times he hit into the shift and how often that he was called out because of that.
Yeah.
Every player is going to be different. You got some guys that pull the ball a lot, like Alex Bregman type. Alex Bregman gets as many home runs as he does because he pulls the ball so much. A lot of them are wall scrapers. We saw that in the home run derby, that he just didn't have the power that the other guys have. There's a lot of players like that. So you would really have to research every individual player to kind of get a general idea of how much of his batting average he's actually, how many points is really going to go up.
Yeah.
I don't think that majority of players are really going to have that much of an advantage when it comes to the pitch timer. I think the thing is going to be the bigger bases. I think that's going to be the huge difference maker,
So
especially.
So you're saying, that's another rule change.
Yeah.
We haven't talked
Yeah.
about the big. Dang, I got stuck. The big bases, like it's not. What is it? 2 inches bigger
Three.
than what? 3
Three.
inches bigger than
Yeah,
what it
it's
was
going
last
from
year.
15, and I was thinking it was going to be like 15-inch diagonal going to
Yeah.
18-inch diagonal, but it's not. It's actually 15 inches all the way around. Each side is 15 inches, and now it's going to be 18 inches.
That's what
So
she
you
said.
have less distance from home to first. I didn't even hear what you said, but I can only imagine.
All right. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
So the distance from home plate to first base, they're still considering it 90 feet because they measure to the back of the base. The front of the base is going to be 3 inches closer to home plate. So whatever defender picks up, they're going to have to hurry up and throw it over to first base, because there's a fraction of a second that could make the difference. How many times have we seen really close plays at first place and then they get overturned, or the umpire ended up getting the call right, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
It's it's going to be a lot interesting to see, especially these faster guys. Trey Turner, imagine what his batting average is going to be. He has a lot of infield hits, balls that end up getting hit to third or short, but because he's so freaking fast, he gets on base a lot of infield
really
hits, which
fast.
is why his batting average was about 330 last season.
He makes fast people look not fast.
I love that movie. That movie is so funny.
Every time I see that movie, I think about Trey Turner. That's crazy. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I
I think I used that clip in a Trey Turner video that I made
You
for
did?
Instagram a couple years ago.
Dude. So, all right. So the bases are still going to be 90 feet away, right? With the
The back
increase?
of the base is going to be 90 feet.
So the back of the base is going to
Yeah.
be 90 feet. So it's not going to be the front of the base like it is now. Oh, well, it was like it was last year. Last year, the base is front, like it's 90 feet from the front of the base.
Well, from what I saw on MLB Network, the distance from home plate to the bag, the 90 feet, has always been the back of the base.
The back of the base?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's not going to be 89 point whatever. It's still going to be 90.
Right.
All right. So yeah.
MLB
yeah.
Network is trying to say that the reason why they're doing this is of player health. They're thinking about like when Machado had stepped on the Milwaukee Brewers first baseman's ankle when he was on the Dodgers. I don't remember his name. Jesus Aguilar? Is that right?
I think it's Aguilar. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Max Muncy, that he hyperextended his elbow before last season, really close to the playoffs. They're hoping to eliminate all of that. But honestly, man, I think they're trying to think of more batters getting on base and a lot more base stealing
Yep.
because
I agree
what I
with you. I think that's
Yep.
what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, one thing is trying to say like let's try to sell it that way to where we're trying to protect the player, but at the same time we're like, all right, we need more players on base. We need more excitement on the bases.
Yep.
it's the same
So-
reason why they made the DH permanent. You
Yeah.
know, it was protecting the pitcher.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about protecting the pitcher.
No.
Maybe that's like a small detail that they wanted to happen, but the whole point is because they want more action in baseball. And
Hey.
making the bases bigger, 3 inches to the left and from first base, and then also on second base 3 inches to the right. That means that you're going to have a 6 inch
That's what
shorter distance to have to run. And how many times have we seen these base stealers that get tagged out, on a bang bang play?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be called safe more often than they are called out.
No.
I agree. I agree with that. It's going to be something. Javi, I didn't mean to cut in. Go ahead, man. Say what you.
No. I like that because like I read on it and they did say something about they're looking out for the safety of the players, whoop de whoop. But the first thing that popped into my head is like more steals,
Yeah.
more steals.
Oh,
So
yeah.
then as a fantasy baseball
As a
owner,
fantasy
player,
guru, just say guru. Guru.
you now you're thinking, okay, I need to get somebody that can steal some bases. So now your draft
Maybe not.
strategy changes.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, me personally.
Well,
you know
this
what
is
I
the
mean?
thing now.
Well, see, it's making you think as a fantasy
Yeah.
guru to pick up players now. This is what this season's doing this year. This year, you're looking at different possibilities, and you're looking like Will said. It's a little bit of inches, but those little inches are gonna make a lot of differences. Like those close plays at first base, you don't need to do like an instant replay. You don't need to do all that. Now your batting average is gonna move up, which I don't know if batting average is a thing anymore. What is it that people use now? I mean, like on base percentage. So your on base percentage is gonna go off the roof. So these are things that like this is exciting for fantasy baseball owners and like gurus and nerds and baseball period for some of these changes. Like I said, I didn't agree with the whole time thing, like I'm still adjusting to it because like I'm one of those old farts that like the old style
Yeah, you
baseball,
are.
So you don't like it, too bad. But that kind of is going to change your perspective and your way of thinking of picking up players this year. Like I said, we talked about the Cody Bellingers, we talked about the Joey Gallos, the guys that even Freddie Freeman pulls the ball sometimes and he gets caught. He bats 300. So
330 last year.
Exactly. So imagine all those balls that he pulled, and there was fielders playing in the outfield, that rover spot that we call. Like he might have a 350, 360 batting average. We don't know the exact number, how many times that ball has been caught, but there's numbers out there, and there's going to be people going after those numbers and saying, look, Cody Bellinger hit it here, and his batting average would have been from 217 all the way to 250, and which is a big margin, right? It's bigger than what he showed last year. So, I mean,
Carlos's number one pick, Jock Peterson.
Oh man, that's my boy.
The guy that pulls the ball more than anyone I've ever seen.
Man, that guy loves pulling the ball. So he's gonna get more at bats. He was batting 230 last year. You don't know. He might be 250, 260 this year.
That's a little high.
You think so?
I think that if anyone's going to be
You just hated on my
taking
boy.
advantage, I think if anyone's going to be taking advantage of this shift ban, I think their average might go up a solid 10 points. I don't think it's going to be in like the 20 or 30 range. So a guy that batted 230 last year is probably going to be closer to 240, possibly like a 245.
Really?
But going back to the stolen bases thing, Javi, you can have whatever strategy you want, but honestly, I think that the guys that already steal bases are just going to continue stealing bases. It's not really going to go up from there. Guys like Trey Turner that steal 40 to 45 bases, it's probably still going to be 40 to 45, unless it's, because now that he's on a new team that the Phillies like to run a lot more than the Dodgers did, that could be a factor right there. But I think the guys that you really want to have to target are the guys that were getting 8 to 15 steals, because now they're probably going to be their stolen base percentage, like not getting caught rate, is going to go up. So a guy that was getting caught stealing a base 20% of the time, that's going to drop. So guys like you saw Kyle Schwarber like steal like 8 bases last year. Like, what the hell was that about? But now he's going to have a 6-inch gap where he won't have to go as far as he was last season. So maybe we'll see his stolen bases uptick a little bit. I think it's the guys that are going to that have the low stolen bases total from last year. Those are the guys that are going to go up a little bit.
They're going to
Not necessarily the guys that are big. So the guys that you draft, like a Trey Turner or Acuna, if he starts running again, Tatis, if he starts running again, guys like that aren't going to be as valuable in the stolen base category than they were in previous seasons, because guys like Tommy Edman that steals 15 to 20 bases, he's probably going to be more like a 25 stolen base guy. So that increases his value, and it kind of takes away from the guys that already steal a lot of bases. You don't really have to go looking for stolen bases anymore. I mean, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of just what I'm thinking.
So I'm thinking the stolen base records are going to probably be broken, from like Ricky Henderson hitting those 500 stolen bases. So those are things that are going to happen. We just saw it in basketball with LeBron James and Kareem. Yeah. Kareem didn't throw a lot. He didn't have a lot of 3-pointers. I think he just had one, right?
It was 3 total.
3 total 3-pointers.
Seriously?
Imagine that. LeBron James had a bunch of them. That's why he caught up. So now we're looking at stolen bases. Ricky Henderson was one of those top players that I think he has a record for stolen bases.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have
he has the record for season and for career.
And career, right? So like what he hit I remember him hitting that 500 mark, and he took out the base and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those records are going to be broken, and MLB's doing good in that part, because we do want to see records being broken. Like that's going to increase baseball, and that's going to increase fans looking at the game. Like that's the way to look at it. Like I think the time thing, I think it's too soon. Maybe later on it would have probably been like, okay, we already got these fans, we got them hooked, let's try to shorten the game. I don't think they had gotten to that point to where they have a big fan base to shorten the game, but whatever. We already talked about that. Anyway, let's move on, man. Let's move on to the next topic. I know we're going to talk about the ADP and current positions, number one players in their positions, I guess, right? So we'll go ahead and do that. Will, you got the list for that?
Yeah, so the number one player going overall right now is Aaron Judge. Came off a historic season, broke the American League record, broke the Yankee record. Didn't break the single season home run record that still belongs to Barry Bonds.
Like that.
But Aaron Judge, a dude that's 6'8", 6'9", something like that, 290 pounds. This is the guy that absolutely crushes the ball. He's if he can stay healthy, he has a huge chance to continue that and maybe hit another 60 home runs this season. We saw it last season. He was in the best shape of his life. He was 29 to 30 years old between the season. Just hit free agency. Got that huge contract. Though? What's that?
He's number one?
He's going number one overall on average.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that your number one though?
No.
And be honest.
No, not at all.
Javi, is that your number one?
Turner is number one.
What?
Trey Turner?
Dude, you want to know who's mine? Ohtani. That's number one.
If you're playing in ESPN.
Yeah,
if you're playing in Yahoo, you draft two different players: Ohtani pitcher, Ohtani batter. If you're playing in ESPN, of course he's going to be number one, because you have one player that's going to be the pitcher and hitter.
Yeah,
you're going to have a 25-man roster with actually 26 guys, because you split those guys in half.
Yeah.
Should he be number one as just a hitter? No way. Should he be number one as just a pitcher? Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
But when you put those two together, this is the reason why this man is going to get a $500 million contract.
Yeah.
Carlos froze again.
Wait,
He looks like
wait,
he's
wake
asleep
up.
again. Look at him.
Wake up.
I'm back.
Bro, it
Yeah,
always
the weird-
catches you when your eyes are closed.
I do that on purpose.
You do that
Let's see if they can tell.
let's see if they can tell. Like, let's fall asleep.
You got some narcolepsy over there?
All right, so Aaron Judge is number one, and he's is he playing outfield? He's a DH. What is he?
See, that's the thing is he's had a lot of lower body injuries over his career in the past 6 years. It's been a couple oblique strains. It's been lower body tightness. It's I have it right here actually.
Oh man. Well, he's not my number one.
Hell,
All right, so he had a
Wow.
calf strain and that was just in 2020. Lower body soreness in 2021. So really, there's been 2 seasons that Aaron Judge hasn't had any injuries. He is somewhat of an injury-prone player, and I think it's because of his size.
Yeah,
Almost
he's a
300
huge
pounds, running around like a kid in the outfield. It's amazing to see him rob a home run and not have to jump. That's really fun to watch. But I think the Yankees really messed up with adding Hey, that gap's not there anymore. You gotta replace that big head now.
I don't like you talking about me, man.
You need a Subway in his mouth too.
Eat fresh, yeah. Well, all right. So they got
injury
him at number
concerns
one.
about Aaron Judge are
Of course.
very scary to me.
Of course, he's a huge dude, man. And you said 300 pounds running out there, and he can throw the ball. So you're not going to be having someone that can throw the ball from the outfield sitting on the bench. So maybe alternating, because I know Stanton is
Well,
out there
also
too,
because
right?
they just named him the captain. The captain can't be a DH.
Nah,
You
hell
need
no.
someone running the field.
Exactly.
you're right.
You need someone out there to be like, hey, man, everybody calm down. Let's take a breather. But from the outfield, a captain from the outfield.
That's
I've
crazy,
never seen
huh?
that. Never seen that. I know the captain that was there before, Derek Jeter, shortstop, of course. Yeah, you guys know that I love shortstops. That didn't sound right. Anyway,
I still don't see Aaron Judge as a captain. I don't see him as that leader in the clubhouse.
well, I mean, I don't see enough Yankee games to say that he's not a captain. I know you guys are in the East Coast. Maybe you guys see a little bit more Yankee games than I do. And you're right. I don't see it either. But there's probably something behind the scenes, like Mookie Betts. I don't see him on the field doing certain things. I didn't see that the 2 seasons before, but this past season I saw it. I saw Mookie Betts taking over and going to each player and kind of telling them, look, man, this is how you do it. I don't see Aaron Judge doing that yet. I think he's too young to fit that role. I don't even know how old he is. But for me, I feel like he's a little young. But if he's a captain, he's going to have to take that role and step up and just, do it. Dude, we talked about Aaron Judge too much
In
already.
this
Let's go
season
into
coming up.
let's move on to number 2, man. Who's number 2 in the positions, right? This is outfield. Who's number 2?
So number 2 is Juan Soto, and
Okay.
that one's a little scary too, just because of seeing what happened last season.
Yeah.
260 batting average, not a lot of pop in his bat. Got traded mid-season to the Padres. They thought that they were going to be able to get the Juan Soto that we saw the season before and the season before that, and possibly the Juan Soto of the future. I still think that this kid has an amazing future ahead of him. I think that it really sucks that he's on the Padres, and it's not just because I'm a Dodger fan and I don't want to see him, in the brown or the yellow. It's more that the Padres just do not develop their players very well, and they're not very careful with their players either. They put them. They have like kind of the reputation that the Mets have, where they just have a lot of injuries, and it's the same injuries over and over again, and then they don't get it taken care of. And I think that Juan Soto is the type of player that you can consider a generational talent that deserves to be on a really good team like the Padres. But when you have a Padres organization that doesn't really look at these guys as people. They look at them as just numbers and players. I think that that's the bigger issue. You know, I really hope that Juan Soto has an amazing season that I know he can have. He can definitely hit 300 or over. His on base percentage is freaking out of this world because he walks so much and he doesn't strike out a lot. Strikeouts were up a lot last year. I don't know what was up with him, but he's also very young and still developing. So we'll see how that goes next season and the seasons after that. He doesn't really have a lot of power, but he is getting closer to that man strength age that we always talk about. So I think age 25, 26, we're really going to start seeing Juan Soto kind of come to his own. That's still, a couple years away because I believe he's only 23 years old right now.
That's
so
insane.
Seeing the type of player that he is at 23 years old, it really makes me excited to see him for the future.
I still would have put him second, man.
But don't forget, we've talked about contract year here a lot. We've talked about that every year. It's one of the hot topics that we always, touch on, and it is contract year for him. So he is looking to get paid. He's going into the free agency after this year. So what better way to do it if he goes, out with a bang in a World Series title? They have the team to do it. Out in San Diego, they spend a lot of money.
Yeah, they're gonna
on
choke
that
again.
team. So I know we're Dodger fans out here, but I just want to be honest with you. The Padres have had a good team for a long time, and to say that last year they beat the Dodgers, they miraculously beat them, no. It's due. It has been due, and they've had a team for a long time, and it's like finally they decided to play, and they decided to play in the playoffs. And Juan Soto was a big part of it because he's intimidating, dude. He takes a pitch, he dances up there, and he stares at you at the pitcher.
The little shuffle.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if he's going to continue that as much now with the pitch clock, because that little shuffle that he does, he does that like right after the pitch is thrown. So the clock is actually not going to start until the pitcher gets the ball back from the catcher. So once the catcher has the ball, he can kind of, hang on to it for a little bit and not throw it back right away. So that way the pitcher has a little bit more time to reset also. It's
That's
once
crazy.
the pitcher gets the ball.
Yeah.
You're right, because he does do the shuffle and then he steps off.
So
he steps off the
I feel
running thing.
I feel like these players that have like all these different mannerisms and routines that they do, it's gonna be a little bit different for them because you know how some guys they set themselves up. Certain routines they do before they bat. It's just a part of their baseball.
Superstitions, man.
You see a lot of guys that just take like those practice swings, and sometimes they do 2 and then 3, and then they finally like start to they look at their bat. Jock Peterson, I remember Jock Peterson all the time looking at his bat.
And then he shakes. He shakes,
exactly.
yeah. And he steps in.
That's the kind of things that are gonna kind of shake it up a little bit for these little older guys. Not old guys, because these guys are only like 30 years old, but once these guys get a little bit older and start heading more towards retirement, these younger guys that are just coming up, they're already used to this pitch clock.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the pitchers. There are so many young pitchers that are playing really well right now. Way more than the younger batters, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 3, man. Who is the top number 3? And let's see if we agree with that one. We didn't agree on Soto being 2? No?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Not for this year.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I believe in the future he does have that number 1, number 2 potential.
Yeah.
And that's because he had a down year last year, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's go to number 3.
Number 3, well, also because of what I said about the Padres not developing their players well.
You just don't like the Padres. Come on. Just say it.
The Padres don't really bother me. They're like they're the fly on my back that just keeps on bothering me.
Exactly.
Take
So
a
they
shower.
are in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah, hopefully Matty Tice
sneak
isn't
up.
watching this show right now.
They sneak up on you and they're like, oh, man, the damn Padres. Like, what the hell? Yeah, all right. So number 3.
Number 3, we got Ronald Acuna Jr., and I'm very
Okay.
surprised about this because he also had a very down season.
I got something to say about this guy. This guy's I just don't want to say the word. You know what I'm just gonna say? He's a crybaby, dude, and like to be honest, he complains about everything. He
He
complains
needs to
about
grow up.
Exactly,
That's the biggest
and
issue
that's
for
where I
him.
was going to. He does need to grow up. He had a tough time with Valenzuela. I don't know if you guys knew what happened. He said he was going to play for the World Classic with Valenzuela, and then he backed off. And he said yes, and he backed off again. And then he started playing in the Caribbean League or another league in Venezuela this winter. And his family got heckled, and they got like thrown beer and all kinds of stuff because
Ooh, I
he
didn't
said
hear
he
about
wasn't going to
this.
play in the WBC. So then now, I think last night he decided to say, "I'm gonna play for Team Venezuela." So now he's gonna play, and the fans are like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy? Is he not all there, or what's going on?" So there's a lot of MLB players are kind of criticizing them, especially the people from his country, and they're kind of like, "You need to grow up, dude. You need to grow up. It's time to grow up.
Yeah,
It's time to actually put your feet on the ground and say, here, look, I'm a badass player. I need to show what I got. I need to stop complaining, and I just need to like do what I need to do, man. Like, and it's kind of like to the point where every fan is noticing this because a little injury, he gets hit by the pitch, he cries about it. You know, he like gets a little like his nail gets broken, he cries about it.
Honestly,
Like,
though, like I kind of feel his pain though, just because he's constantly getting hurt, and it's most of the time it's not his fault. You know, the one where he ran into the wall, or maybe he didn't run into the wall, he fell, making like a diving play or something. Tore his ACL or MCL, one of those L's. He that was
one of
pretty
those L's.
catastrophic for him.
What?
He got an L. He got an L.
It was an L.
Jose
It was an
Velasquez, man.
L.
Let me just say, he says, what up, guy?"
What's up, man?
Yo.
So,
What up,
yeah.
brother?
There you go.
Yeah, so I feel like he's just sick of being hurt, you know. And when he does get hit by a pitch or, you know, something happens like that, I kind of understand why he's crying about it a little bit. When it comes to, you know, calling balls and strikes from the umpire, that's when I think he needs to. That's the area I think that he needs to grow up a little bit, you know. But then again, he's also only 24 years old. I mean, you guys remember what it was like to be 24 years old, right?
Yeah, yeah, but
You're still a kid.
you're still a kid.
And
Yeah.
especially because all these guys that are playing professional baseball, they really haven't had a chance to grow up. You know, they haven't had the life to kind of live out in the world and have a chance to grow up. These guys grow up in the clubhouse. You know, they're it's basically their home. So
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's tough to be on the road all the time, and then that you be with your family, especially away from your country, because he is coming from somewhere else. He's
Yeah.
not from the United States,
see, and
I
that's
can
another
see that.
reason.
I
That's
can see
another
that.
thing about like his option to play for Venezuela or not. It's at 24 years old, thinking like, I keep on getting hurt. Do I really want to risk getting hurt for the World Baseball Classic when I know that, you know, contract season is coming up pretty soon?
Yeah, but like, look, listen. The United States have a stacked roster this year. I think it's the most
Not their
stacked that's ever-
pitching. Pitching sucks.
Yeah, but we had their hitting is the top
Oh, yeah.
notch, man. Like it's
The
it's gonna be
lineup definitely looks like the best in the Baseball Classic.
okay.
this
So
season.
this is where I feel like a lot of like pride is coming out right now. A lot of pride is coming. Look at Dominican Republic, man. Look at their roster. They're stacked, dude. They're trying to prove to the world that hey, we got the best baseball. We got the best baseball, and we're going to show it in the World Classic. So, you know, hearing that, you know, I would want to play. You know, anybody would want to play. Anybody
Yeah.
that plays baseball be like, let me show up for my country
Well,
to
yeah.
show that I have the best.
You're
Look at
representing
Shohei-
your country.
Exactly. Look at Shohei Otani, dude. Shohei Otani's going to play out there. He said he's not going to be the best player on the team. He told Mike Trout that. You know, so of course you're hearing all these Venezuelan players, old, new, whatever, they're all criticizing him because they're like, dude, you're the best Venezuelan player in the MLB and you're not going to play?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where you need to show the world that you are the best. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying like this guy cries a lot about other things that doesn't really matter at the time, but at the same time it's like, dude, you're one of the top players in the MLB, man. Like, come on, stop crying about it and play baseball. Like, yeah, there's gonna be things that you don't like and you don't appreciate. Like the thing with Freddie Freeman, kind of, you know, hey, we don't wear our hat like that, or we don't do this on the Braves, and he took it personal. Like, no, dude. There's traditions you gotta follow. There's traditions that you gotta go with because you are new to the team, and you can't just sit there and cry about it. I'm just saying that. Like, I know we're talking about ADP and fantasy baseball, but as a personal like thing about number three, because if he's number three, like I think his attitude needs to clear up, and then maybe like
Yo,
his game will show. His game
I
will show a
I
different.
feel like he needs to be a role model for the Venezuelan, the young kids in Venezuela that are growing up watching him play, and they want to
Even
be
here,
like
even
they
here,
want to
yeah,
Even
be
here.
like this guy.
yeah.
But the fact that Venezuela is not a big, it's a
They're
small
going through
country.
an economic crisis, dude. So
So what's the it's kind of like the World Cup, you got these small countries that are making it to like the round of 16 that you would never think they would make it that far, but they take pride in it, and now their country showing out. Now their countrymen are proud.
yeah,
So that's kind of how I see it with Acuna. If he could just like get rid of that little attitude and just show up, I mean,
He's a
it.
cocky son of a
Hey,
you just
what
stole the
20
word
what
word out of my
what
mouth. Will, yeah,
24-year
he's
old
cocky.
isn't cocky? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who at that age we were all like that.
I
Don't
wasn't.
matter.
Wait,
You
what?
lie.
We wait. We sounds like a lot of people. Because I
But
don't
you
think I
get
was
what I'm
like that.
saying.
Yeah, I know
We
what
all
you're
think
saying.
we're
I know what you're
invincible
saying.
at that age. So
We think a
I
lot
just
different. Yeah,
yeah, I just feel
yeah.
like if he would show out, it hit Venezuela on the map, and then it'd get more of the younger generation out there to watch him play and want to play. That's
Will,
just
I don't mean to cut you off, Chavi. I think you made a great point, and that's really good. But I did see a tattoo, LA tattoo. Let me see that tattoo. Will, what's
Oh,
going
you haven't
on?
seen that yet?
Nah, man, just
what?
show it.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Do you get a lot of hate out there for
And
it?
then I got the California bear right here too.
Damn. You get a lot of hate out there
It's a
for it,
cocaine
or
bear, fool.
okay?
No, man, dude.
It's
A
a
lot of people
Clan Deck
really,
bar
really
one.
like my tattoos that I got.
The Clan Deck bar bear. They look dope, man. I like them. They're
Thank you.
nice. Nice. All right, so let's move on, man. I know we talked about his attitude, and we don't agree with it, right? He's not number three, or he is.
I think in a categories league, I think I would take him probably, somewhere near there because he did have 25 stolen bases last year.
Uh huh.
I think the power just needs to increase for him.
Okay.
But if there's anyone in baseball right now that has 30-30 potential, I think it is Acuna.
Okay. All right. Let's move
I
on to
agree.
number four, man.
Number 4,
Número cuatro.
we got Kyle Tucker. So Kyle Tucker, he
Dude.
I don't understand. Okay, so let me just say real quick, the guy going after Kyle Tucker is Mookie Betts, and I don't understand how Kyle Tucker is going ahead of Mookie Betts.
Okay.
Mookie Betts, he's that guy you can always depend on, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And Kyle Tucker, he had a breakout season a couple seasons ago. Last year was a little bit down for him. Maybe people are expecting like a comeback, next season. I'm not saying that he had like a bad season or anything last year. He was still great, but to be going number 4 of the outfielders, I think that's a little bit of a reach for him. I don't think that he really has that like pop in his bat. He's a big dude. He's very tall, but he's also very skinny. So he doesn't really have that like power swing. I think playing in Houston really helps him out a lot because of the short porch in left field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other than that, he
Mm-hmm.
has a handful of stolen bases. Possibly this season coming up, maybe he'll have some more because of the larger bases that we're talking about. If we could potentially see like a 30 home run, 10 steal season from him, then I could see him going, around that. I'm wondering what his stats were last year.
Man, I don't
He
like
did
him in
hit
that
30
position
home
at
runs
all.
last year.
Mm.
He did hit 30 home runs. He did bat 257.
That was the thing. His batting average was down because the year before that, I believe he was closer to 300.
And that's why he kind of went a little bit high on the draft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So the year before, he batted 283 with a 394 on base percentage. So strikeouts were down. Walks were up.
Wait, you said 20. You said 10 stolen bases. He had 25 last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's. I think.
Dude.
Look.
Yo,
These-
so
the-
I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
I don't mean to cut you off. So you're
No, no,
telling
go for
me that Kyle Tucker is ahead of Jordan Alvarez?
Jordan Alvarez still has a lot of growing to do, man.
Yo,
Not
but
only that, but
I'd
injuries.
I'd rather pick Jordan over Kyle.
But then,
I'm
like
sorry.
like Will just said, injuries too has a lot to do with it. That's a
I
big
don't
old
know,
boy
man.
out there, man. That's a big dude.
What about
It's
J
like,
Rod?
it's like well, we haven't got to J Rod yet, but I don't even know if he's in the top 9 players right now or top 10. So okay, so you're saying Mookie Betts ahead of Tucker? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I would go for Mookie Betts ahead of Tucker. I think.
So you don't agree with this ADP then? That's what you're saying?
Well, they're only going 2 spots away from each other. So Kyle Tucker's going number.
Wait!
8
I just want to
overall.
clear it up. You don't agree with the ADP. You just go ahead and
don't,
say it.
no.
I don't. There you go. Exactly. You don't agree with it. That's what we want. Good. All right. So then you'll pick Mookie Betts over Tucker because you got Mookie Betts more experience, and then you have Tucker that kind of had a little down
there's
here,
also
right?
one more factor that we
Give
have
it
to
to
talk
us.
about.
Give it to us.
And that's that in Yahoo especially, I don't know about other sites, but Mookie Betts has second base eligibility in Yahoo.
Damn.
That is huge because
That is
second
true.
base sucks this year. It is so bad.
Damn, dude, you did say that, and I looked it up, and I'm like, what the hell? You're right.
The best second baseman out there is Jose Altuve.
Mm-hmm.
Second is Marcus Simeon, and neither of those guys are going in the first 2 rounds. Their ADP is 30 or after.
What?
Yeah, I seen that.
Jose Altuve is old, man. He's getting up there in age. He still has pop in his bat, but he doesn't steal bases anymore.
No.
We'll be lucky to get 8 to 10 stolen bases out of him. Not like the 15 to 20 that we've seen in previous seasons. The Father Time has been taking a toll on him, and I don't
agree.
see him being that top fantasy asset for very long.
And I got to throw this in there, man. Ripping off the shirt too, that took a lot off of him too. So
Can't forget that.
All right. So where were we? We were gonna that was number 4, and you kind of swapped Mookie Betts to number 4 and Kyle Tucker to number 5 or number 6.
I got Mookie Betts at 4 and Kyle Tucker at 5.
At 5. All right, cool. And I kind of agree with that too. Because I know we talk about Kyle Tucker, and I know you've been one of those I don't think you should draft them that early. I don't think you should pick them up that early. And we've had that in the show last year, and it surprised us, right? Kyle Tucker surprised us with the 30 home runs and 25 stolen bases, and the on base percentage and all that stuff. So I agree. Even Mookie Betts kind of had a little down year, right? I agree with that. I would do that move. I would pick up Mookie Betts over Tucker anytime, and that's because of experience too. So, I'd rather do that. So let's go ahead and move on to number 6 then, since we already have number 4, and number 5. Who's number 6 in your
Number 6 is Jordan Alvarez. That's Javi's boy right there.
He's my boy.
It's crazy that my number 5 and 6 are both on the
Carlos is playing a
Astros.
trick on us.
What?
You were frozen.
Yeah, you froze again.
Was that like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this time you had the crazy eyes.
The crazy eye.
I thought you got frozen again for a second.
Yeah, right?
All right, so
Yeah,
number 6,
it's-
Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah, and it's crazy that both of these guys, the two, 5 and 6, are both on the Astros. So Astros have 2 of the top outfielders in the whole league, and no wonder why they get as far as they do, in the playoffs. Because it doesn't stop there. We just talked about them having the best second baseman in the league in Jose Altuve. Even though Altuve is not as good as he was before, we were drafting Jose Altuve number 3 or 4 overall just a few seasons ago, 3 or 4 seasons ago, before we found out about the scandal. After we found out about the scandal, his stock just dropped a lot. But he still hits the ball very hard. He knows how to use his size to his advantage. there's a lot of guys that are a lot smaller, like a D Gordon type, that just they don't know how to pull the ball or about launch angle and stuff like that. Or is it D Strange Gordon now?
D
Freaking weirdo.
Strange. That's
Um,
that's weird.
very weird.
Yeah.
But Jose Altuve, he still has that like 20 home run potential. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy to see what the Astros are doing right now. I really don't like it because I'm still a little salty, but
Little.
Astros still do have a great team.
Yeah. Well, they won the World Series last year, so they kind of like
They deserved it last year.
Yeah, they did.
It's about time. They needed that to kind of get some retribution, to kind of get that like chip off their shoulder. And the best part about that is that they didn't do it with Correa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hate that
Correa had a lot of interesting things going around with him. You know that
It's crazy.
freaking
Yeah, the
buzzer
craziest
wasn't-
offseason I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Dude.
for real.
the Giants didn't decide to sign him because he didn't have his buzzer connected, and they were like, "Fuck this, we're not getting that shit." And then the Mets were like, "You know what, we got it." And then when they found out, like, "Oh, it's not connected," all right, wait, let me make the call. No, we can't have them on the team. That's what
That makes
happened,
sense
dude.
to me.
That's what happened. I would have done the same. I'm like, dude, you used to cheat, and you like that's what we're bringing you. We want to win a championship. We want to cheat too. We want to.
You
win a
ain't cheating,
championship.
you ain't trying.
Ah, exactly. And that's what Tony said, right? All right. So they're both 6'4", 6'5". Man, those are some tall ass dudes, man.
Hey, and
Fucking
Jordan
raking.
Alvarez is stacked, man.
Yeah.
He is jacked.
Yeah.
This guy could hit home runs with one hand, probably.
Yeah, I've seen.
he
I've
has
seen
that.
it.
He has
Big
that
man.
Aaron Judge power,
Yeah.
and he doesn't
On the
even
left
have to
side.
try.
On the
Nope.
left side too.
Yeah.
All right. So that's number 6. Number 7. Let's move on, man. Oh, do we agree with him being number 6?
Yeah,
Yeah?
especially because he has that home run potential.
All right.
That's where the points are going to come in. He definitely has 100 run, 100 RBI potential. At
Yeah,
least
he was near.
at
He was
least
near last year.
35 home runs. I could see this guy potentially hitting 50,
Yeah. I
I
see
I
it.
can see that.
I
and
see
he's
that.
super young, super young.
Yeah. All right.
You
let's
know
move-
he was actually in the Dodgers organization. Dodgers
Yeah.
traded him to the Astros.
They traded him to the Astros.
Dummies.
Well, we didn't know. I mean,
Yeah, we
I
didn't
say
know.
like we like
You never
like,
know.
I'm-
You never
I
know
was
with
part of the
prospects, right?
organization.
You never know if they're going to pan out or not.
Yeah.
This guy, Michael Bush, coming up, second baseman. Watch out for that guy, man. He had 30 home runs last season as a second baseman. I could see him going pretty early in drafts, in probably not this season, but next season if they give him a shot, which actually might happen because Dodgers didn't really do any big signings this season, so. They could
rank.
possibly bring him up with the September call-ups, or maybe a little bit earlier if there's an injury or wherever it may happen.
Yep. All right. Number 7, man. Let's move on.
7, we got Mike Trout. Good old Mike Trout.
All right.
I don't
Even
want
with-
any piece of Mike Trout.
Even with the back injury?
No, thank you.
No. All right. Well,
You can have.
dang. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about Mike Trout? He's just Mike Trout. He's good.
He's just the back, man. It just
The injuries are
he
piling up.
can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to have a full season in I don't even know how
Oh,
long.
it's been years. It's been
It's
years.
been years. But he's still Mike Trout. He's still going to get you 30-plus home runs. He's still going to get you a few stolen bases. He's still going to get you a 3-something batting average. Like, it's Mike Trout we're talking about, man. And I think
The
he's
oldie
in-
but goodie.
He's in his prime. I think he's in his prime, right? This is
I
his
think
prime
it's
years?
just he's a little bit past his prime now. The bat has gotten a little bit slower. He still has the power and he still has the speed on the base paths. His strikeouts were up last year also. He's definitely striking out a little bit more. I don't think he's seeing the ball as well as he used to. It's the old man eyes. But
How long
I
was he
just
out,
think
though? Do you guys remember?
What's
Do
that?
you guys remember how many months was he out? He was probably out like 2 or 3 months, right?
Yeah, and he still had 40
40
home
home
runs. last
runs.
season.
No.
40 home
Uh.
runs. So it's not a bad pick, but I don't know if it's too soon for him to get picked up. Maybe second round. or late first round?
I think that is second round actually.
Is that second round?
So he's going at pick 20.
Oh, pick
20
20.
to
All right.
21. So that is
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
that's towards the end of the second round.
Oh shit! I
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah.
Damn.
No.
Not bad. What were we gonna say? Well, my bad, dude. I cut you off.
I just he scares me because when I think of Mike Trout, like he'll probably get me to the playoffs, but is he going to be in baseball when I'm in my fantasy playoffs? You know, that's really what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the longevity towards the end of the season, not really what he's going to do up to that point.
Yeah.
I know he's going to be great when he's actually on the field.
All right.
But the problem is Otani DHs every day. So Mike Trout's not really going to have a lot of opportunities to DH. Trout might be the DH on the days where Otani pitches, but that's one day a week.
Yeah.
You know, we got to
Yeah.
give Mike Trout a little bit of rest. And that's the problem with having a permanent DH on each team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're not going to put Otani in any fielding position.
Oh,
So
he just
what do
came
you
out
do?
saying that he wants to play the outfield.
yeah, that's
So-
not going to happen.
It's
No
not.
way.
He has more
Shit.
value as a pitcher.
Exactly.
But imagine
What the fuck? Yo,
this guy wants to do everything. He wants to
don't
be like,
care.
I want to be out there every day. Like, man, you're already a DH, dude. Relax. There's no National League, American League type shit. You know that doesn't have a DH anymore. So you're good. Relax. All right, number 8. Oh, do we agree with Mike Trout being number 8? I mean, number
yes.
7. Yeah.
Yes, and that's just because of who I see that's going after him.
Okay, so let's go to number 8.
Number 8, I have Michael Harris II, the
Who?
Braves outfielder.
Oh, okay. He was. Is he the Rookie of the Year?
Yes, he was,
Yeah,
I believe.
For
Yeah.
the National League.
yeah. I'm National League. So
Really?
you agree with that one?
That one's kind of it's kind of iffy. So he batted 297 with 19 home runs, and that's great.
Mhm.
OBP was 339, so obviously he does strike out a lot. But with a 297 batting average, that's going to be a lot of points. You know, a lot of hits. I
They're
think
big on this
that
guy,
because
too.
he's so young, he does have a lot of potential. 22 years old, and this was his rookie season, like you said. 16 home runs. I think it can only go up from there. He only had 389 at bats, so if he can play a full season, he's going to have closer to 600 at bats. He hits in the top of the order, close to the top of the order. So he's going to play, most games. He played. Where is it at?
Yeah, I don't have that on here, but I know the Braves are pretty big on him.
I don't see how many games he. Oh, that's projections. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Braves are pretty big on him, so they're kind of banking on him.
He played in 114 games last year. So if we can see
That's gonna go up.
150 games
Oh
from this
shit!
guy,
Really?
Yeah,
Damn. It seemed like he didn't play that. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but
yeah, a
He just
lot of
seemed
these
like he
guys
didn't play
they
that
have
much.
like the stolen base potential. He had 20 stolen bases last year. So if we can get a full season out of him, get 25 stolen bases and another 20 home runs, then yeah, he definitely deserves to be in that spot that he's in.
gotcha. All right, so we agree with that position. What was it? Number 9.
Yeah, I agree with that. Number
All
9.
right. Cool. And I think it's going to be one of those players that a lot of people are going to overlook and be like, who the hell is this guy? He wasn't mentioned that much last year. If you're not in the East Coast, I know you guys probably heard it a little bit more than what we did out here. Bless you. If we
Thank
so like that's type of thing that we don't notice if you're a regular fan. But I kind of like know a little bit about him. I said the Braves are kind of high on him, and he's a pretty good hitter and a pretty good fielder. So the Braves need this guy's production. They just lost their shortstop, and the upcoming shortstop for the Braves is going to be pretty good as well. So I don't know his name. If I'm blanking out right now, but that
Can you
name's
say that
gonna-
again? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
the Braves are pretty big on this guy. And
Vaughn Grissom.
Yeah, right.
Vaughn Grissom, second
Yeah,
baseman.
there
or
you go.
shortstop.
Exactly, Vaughn Grissom.
Yeah.
He's going to be the top.
That's the whole reason why the Braves didn't re-sign
after-
Dansby Swanson. Why they didn't go
Exactly.
harder after Dansby Swanson.
Yeah.
They were like, we got this guy coming up that we have a lot of hope and we really believe that he's going to be the future, at that position. So why spend so much money on Dansby Swanson when you can get Vaughn Grissom for basically for free?
Another 6 years. All right, number 10. Who's number 10? And that's our final pick. And we'll see if we agree or disagree on this one.
Well, Harris was number 8. So number 9, we have Kyle Schwarber. Yeah,
I don't agree.
I don't like Schwarber.
I don't either.
In the categories league with OPS and the batting average, it just that's what gets me, dude. If you're in a categories league with that has OPS as a category, then I think Kyle Schwarber is definitely a good pick right here at number 9. There's another guy that's way down the list, and I understand he's not going to play the whole season, but I would much rather have Bryce Harper at this position than Kyle Schwarber at number 9 or Randy Arozarena at number 10. Kyle Schwarber is going at number 42 overall, but
Okay.
I really think that the way that I play fantasy baseball is I like to not only set myself up for the beginning of the season, but also for the end of the season. And I know Bryce Harper is not going to be there for the first 2.5, 3 months probably, but I want Bryce Harper at the end of the season. I want him on my team in the playoffs. So I'm going to draft Bryce Harper a little bit earlier than everyone else is.
That's
So
my guy, bro.
Kyle
Fuck
Schwarber
up.
and Randy Arozarena are going number 42 and 47 overall, and going all the way down to number 111. Pick 111 is Bryce Harper.
And that's because he had a broken hand, a broken finger, whatever it was, right? What was it, a broken wrist? I forget what it was. He was out for...
He had surgery. Didn't he have surgery? Oh, he had...
No, he got hit by a Padres pitcher. I think it was Blake Snell that hit him. And then he had surgery on his wrist or his hand. I forget what it was. But, like, I think... So I don't know if are these picks are based on last year's stats, and that's why they're picking them on so high on these ADPs this year.
Yeah, he had Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John surgery. What
Yeah,
the
in
hell?
November. So
So that's another surgery he had because he was out, right?
yeah,
He was out in the season during the season, but he got surgery or he got a broken hand.
he was out during the season, but then he came back and he finished out the season, and
Okay.
then he had Tommy John surgery in the off season.
Okay.
So that was back in November. 6-month time frame for batters. So that means he's not going to be back at least until May, and that's going to be where he starts his training and his extended spring training. Probably going to play a couple games in the minor leagues. We're probably not going to see him in the big leagues until closer to like the All-Star break in June.
Bryce Harper?
Yeah,
What the hell? Well, maybe
which is
that's
why he's going so late.
All right. So he's gonna be one of those players that's gonna sneak.
He dropped a lot.
Yeah, they're not gonna pick him
he's
up that
definitely
soon.
later on in the draft. And honestly, looking at all these other outfielders that are going ahead of him because of his surgery that he had, Dalton Varsho, George Springer, Brian Reynolds, Eloy Jimenez, Adolis Garcia, all these guys are question marks. They're serviceable. They're not really going to hurt you too much, but they're not really going to help you too much either. I'd much rather have 3 months of Bryce Harper than have 6 months of any of these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, just dump him in your IL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every league has IL spots.
Yeah,
We
why
have
not?
3 in ours.
It's not a
So-
bad spot.
I would love to stash him around 4th round or so.
All right,
Let me
that's
write
around,
that. Let me write that down real quick.
Well,
let me write that.
The way
down
that we're
real quick.
doing our draft and auction draft, we don't really have
Yeah.
ADP, so that's
Yeah.
really how much is he worth if you end up wanting to keep him later on.
All right. Cool, man. We got to number 10 because you said Arozarena, which I don't even know if he's at number 10 either. But
Yeah, I really don't like Arozarena. It's the stolen bases and home run potential that
for
really
him, right?
has him that high. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then they
that's
also have Corbin Carroll going super high also,
what
who
the.
hasn't even played one single MLB game, and he plays for the Diamondbacks. So they're saying that he's a really big dude that has big home run potential, possibly 40 home runs per season. But
The
I
first
just
season, though?
no, definitely
Mm,
not the first season. But
exactly. He's too high
um,
for that.
he's like a Jordan Alvarez type of size.
Like
He's
six
a
five.
he's a big baseball player, big beefy baseball player, as Chris Towers on CBS calls him.
The beefy player. All right, like a beef jerky.
Yeah. Oh, beef jerky! I got some in my cabinet.
All right, dude. We went over the 1 hour mark, but we got the top 10, and we didn't agree with a bunch of these picks. And I think it's because of the stats from last year. And we did go into the MLB rules, which is going to change, and it's going to change the perspective of how you draft your players, which is a good thing to look at. Final thoughts, and make it short because we already went over the hour mark. We'll start with you, Will.
Just don't go looking for stolen bases too early. I think that because of the expansion of the bases, the bigger bases, I think it's just going to be a lot easier to find stolen bases later on in the draft than it was in previous seasons.
Cool. Javi, last thought.
Go Dodgers.
Well,
No,
is it
this will be interesting. The way we're doing the fantasy baseball. I'm a little worried about it because I really gotta fucking do homework about this shit, man.
exactly?
But
Yeah, keeper leagues are a whole different ball game, dude.
yeah, we're in the big leagues now.
Exactly. You're in the big nerd league now. Big nerds.
You got the glasses for it.
Exactly. You better not hit me with the glasses. Oh, yeah. All right. Cool. I don't have anything else. I mean, I think we talked our piece, and we said our piece through all these MLB rules and fantasy things. So next show, we're going to be here on Friday. Hopefully us three, and we can go and continue doing this. We're going to talk about the second basemen, why there's not enough, or why isn't there enough second basemen getting picked in the higher rounds. And Will give us who to pick. We're going to give you that for homework, Will. Who to pick, and not to go, I guess, not to, what's the word I'm looking for, man? Oh, well, whatever. Not
Chasing?
to get
Waterfall?
chasing. Yeah, exactly. Not chasing these freaking second basemen that are not going to perform and whatever. So maybe later rounds, earlier rounds, we'll get that next week. We don't want just to throw this today. But yeah, everybody said their piece. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power and Xavi the Commish. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.
Peace.